Hello everyone, this is Tuna. The truth can't be hidden any longer. Alex's mother, a woman shaped by life's hardships with eyes sharp enough to cut through the darkness, has finally uncovered the secret behind the child's disappearance. In her gaze, there's no room for forgiveness, only a burning determination to bring down the one who has been hiding in the shadows for far too long. Amidst the storm, Alex quietly stepped forward, carrying in his heart nothing but love and gratitude. He handed Tuna and little Henry a gift that looked simple, yet carried the weight of a promise. It wasn't just a keepsake, but an invisible bond tying the three of them together. An unbreakable vow that from this moment on, the darkness would never again steal their peace. In that moment, justice and love intertwined, opening a new chapter in their lives. A blank page waiting to be written with trust, with protection, and with the hope that has never faded. Dawn settled over the wooden house, but instead of bringing freshness, it cast a heavy, gloomy veil. The dim light slipped through the cracks in the doors, touching every corner, and stirring a memory the family wished they could erase Henry's disappearance. In Tuna's heart, that pain lingered like a wound that never healed. Even though the child had come back safely, the shadow of fear still crept in silent but crushing pressing on every breath. Alex, understanding it all, chose to stand quietly by their side like a steady wall. He knew that in moments like these, words of comfort weren't enough. What mattered was his presence, his steadiness showing Tuna that she and her son would never be alone again. One morning, the bitter truth reached his mother. Henry had once faced unimaginable danger. That woman, strict reserved with eyes deep as an abyss, didn't just listen and move on. She had lived through too much, too familiar with the darkness that hid behind seemingly kind faces. She knew someone had to take responsibility. The air inside the house grew thick, as if the walls themselves were soaked with waiting. Tuna stayed silent, but that silence was heavier than any cry. In her eyes, there wasn't only guilt, but also a spark of determination to find the heartless person who had once put her son in danger. Still, her breath tightened with worry. Alex's mother was sharp, unyielding. Would her anger turn on Tuna, the mother who hadn't been able to protect Henry? Or would it strike at the mastermind hiding in the shadows? Through it all, Alex remained unusually calm. He wouldn't let fear or suspicion consume his family. Instead, he prepared something unexpected, small but carrying the weight of a vow. One evening, as the sky burned with sunset, Alex walked into the room with a quiet but resolute look. In his hands was a small wooden box, old yet carefully polished. Tuna trembled. Her eyes caught between curiosity and fear. In the dense silence, the soft click of the lid opening seemed to cut through the air. Inside was a silver necklace, the pendant engraved with the name Henry. The glint of silver caught the light shining like a tiny star in the dark. Alex stepped closer, his eyes locked on Tuna's, his voice low but steady. This isn't just a gift. It's my promise. I swear I'll protect you and our son no matter what we have to face. I won't let fear or darkness touch this family ever again. For a moment, time seemed to stop. Tuna clutched the necklace, tears sliding down her cheeks, not just from emotion, but from feeling the strength of that promise. It wasn't flowery or grand. but solid and true like Alex himself. From a corner of the room, Alex's mother watched in silence. In her stern gaze, something shifted subtle, but enough to show that she now saw in Alex not just a son, but a man ready to carry the weight of a family. And in that moment, even with storms still ahead, a light of trust began to seep into the wooden house, sparking hope that a new chapter was about to begin. Tears welled up in Tuna's eyes, rolling down her pale cheeks. She gripped the silver necklace tightly, as if it were the last fragile piece of hope she could hold on to in the middle of the storm. In that moment, one truth carved itself into her heart. Danger might still be lurking, but she was no longer alone. Alex wasn't just Henry's father or her husband. He was the solid wall ready to shield them from every storm. And Alex's mother, the cold, stern woman, was also the fire of justice, ready to burn fiercely to protect the family from the darkness. The tension in the wooden house slowly eased. Outside, the leaves swayed in the early wind as if signaling a silent shift. Something was coming, a truth waiting to break free. And Tuna could feel it clearly. Only love would hold them together when the storm hit. That afternoon, Alex's mother walked into the living room. She wasn't calm as usual. Her steps were heavy, deliberate, carrying an undeniable force. She stopped in front of Tuna, her dark eyes shining with authority. "Tuna," she said, her low voice striking straight into the heart, "I need you to tell me everything. How could that person get so close to Henry without anyone noticing?" Tuna's heart raced each beat like it might burst out of her chest. She was afraid, but not for herself. She feared for the one still hiding in the shadows, the one who would surely be dragged into the light when the truth came out. Tears spilled over, and with a trembling but stubborn voice she answered, "It wasn't carelessness, Mother. I can feel it. This wasn't an accident. Everything was planned." Silence wrapped the room. Alex's mother never took her eyes off Tuna, as if dissecting every memory in her words. After a pause, she gave a firm, steady nod. "Then that person will pay. No one has the right to challenge the peace of this family." The air froze with a chill. Just then, the door opened. Alex stepped in, carrying Henry in his arms. The boy's laughter rang out, tearing through the tension, like sunlight breaking the fog. Each giggle was like a dawn ray piercing the dark. Alex walked over and handed Tuna the necklace. His voice was gentle, but resolute. "This will be our symbol. A promise that no matter how dangerous the world out there is, our love and bond will always be stronger than fear." Tuna closed her eyes, pulling Henry tight against her chest. In Alex's whisper, she felt warmth spreading a new breath, a new faith. She knew the road ahead would be filled with struggles, but now she had a place to lean on. The days that followed were wrapped in a fog of silence and suspicion. Guided by her instincts as both a mother and a grandmother, Alex's mother began to act. She questioned neighbors, listened to workers at the farm, and revisited ties thought long buried. Piece by piece, the puzzle came together, pointing to a chilling conclusion. The person behind it all wasn't a stranger, but a familiar face, someone who couldn't accept the happiness Tuna had found with Alex. Then, one gray, rainy afternoon, an anonymous letter appeared on the doorstep. The handwriting was shaky, rushed. The message was short. a plea for forgiveness begging, "Please keep the secret." Alex's mother read it, her hand tightening around the paper, her lips pressed so hard they bled. This only confirms what I already knew. The culprit is someone close, and there will be nowhere left to hide. A shiver ran through Tuna, as if the shadows of the past were creeping back. But this time, she didn't collapse. Alex, with his unshakable resolve, took her and Henry out to the garden, to the oak tree he had planted as a boy. Bathed in the fiery glow of sunset, he stood tall, his eyes shining with determination. They may still be watching. They may try everything to tear us apart. But as long as I live, no one will ever touch you or our son. Tuna broke down, holding Henry and Alex tightly. In that embrace, she saw it clearly. No matter how much danger still lingered outside this love, this unity was the strongest fortress they could ever have. And in that very moment, the audience could feel it too. The storm was far from over, but a fire had been lit bright enough to push back the darkness waiting in the shadows. But the darkness wasn't finished. When the moon hung high, Alex's mother came to Tuna and spoke bluntly, "I know who's behind all of this. It's not a stranger. It's someone who wants to steal your happiness." Tuna froze, her heart pounding. She didn't need to hear the name. Deep down, she already knew. It was her former mother-in-law, the ghost of the past returning. "Don't be afraid," Alex's mother said firmly. "This time you won't face it alone." Alex walked in, having heard enough to understand. His eyes burned with determination. "If she thinks she can tear us apart, she's wrong. You are my life, my strength. I'll always stand with you and Henry." Oh. The day of confrontation came faster than expected. The former mother-in-law appeared, her eyes cold, her steps heavy. "So this is where you've been hiding, building your new life," she spat bitterly. "Did you really think you could erase the past so easily? I won't let that happen." Tuna trembled, but she didn't back down. She remembered the words Alex and his mother had given her. Lifting her head, she answered, "I'm not hiding. I'm living. And you have no right to destroy what I've built." Alex stepped up behind Tuna, his hand on her shoulder like a shield. Enough, he set his voice low and steady. "If you were the one who tried to take Henry, you will pay for it." At that moment, Alex's mother stepped forward, her eyes unyielding. "I know exactly what you've done. Did you really think you could hide it? A mother always recognizes the marks of evil." The woman's face faltered for a moment before twisting into a sneer. "Maybe I failed this time, but you can't protect him forever." Tuna clutched the necklace, tears falling, not from fear, but from strength. Her voice rang clear. "No more. I won't let my son grow up under your shadow. This is my family, and you have no power here anymore." Her words echoed through the room. For the first time, the other woman realized her defeat not by threats, but by the strength of a family that had learned to stand firm against every storm.
sự chờ đợi của tôi bấy lâu nay. Tôi mỉm cười thì thầm trong lòng Tina.